Hey guys, Scott here, and today I'm going to settle an age-old debate of like 2 weeks of is Save the Best for Last good on Wesker? If you're unaware, Save the Best for Last is that perk that reduces your attack cooldown every time you swing by 5% per stack, and you gain a stack every time you hit someone that's not your obsession. Now, the problem with the perk is if you have to hit your obsession and you have to down your obsession, you have to smack them twice, you lose basically half of your stacks, and that can be pretty detrimental. So, what people do is use Save the Best for Last on killers that have a way to mitigate their stack loss. Demogorgon being a perfect example, he can use his Shred, and the Shred won't gain stacks, but it won't lose stacks. So if you find your Obsession, you can just use your Shred on them, and you're not going to lose any stacks. And Nemesis is another good one. Basically, any killer that can use their power to retain their stacks, it's usually going to be pretty decent on them. Which brings us to Wesker, who can have a power that can hit people without having to M1 them. Wesker can go an entire match without M1ing a single person and down everybody. And especially because his power can one-shot if they are sufficiently infected as well. So you can really, really avoid Save the Best for Last stack loss. But the question is the benefit of the perk going to be worth it on him? Because it's clear you can retain the stacks, but is it worth having them to begin with? And after playing him a lot, I'm going to say no. It's actually not worth it. This is probably the first time I think a killer's power is so strong that going for Save the Best for Last stacks becomes not worth it anymore, because of the passive slowdown effect of his infection. The slowdown effect of the virus is so massive that you don't want to really ever M1 people. You want to infect people on every single hit. So you're not going to really get 8 stacks of Save the Best for Last during the match. And if you are, you're probably not playing Wesker in the most efficient way, because the amount of slowdown you get from a single infection is huge. So they get infected, they have to run to a box, they have to open the box, then they have to do the spray animation and then run back to where the generators or whatever they were doing. This is assuming you don't even have add-ons that affect any of these things, which there are. And this is also assuming the killer doesn't interrupt you during any of these things. If you interrupt the spray animation, you have to redo the whole thing. It's an amazing amount of slowdown for basically no cost. You just hit people with your power. Additionally, they can run out of the cure. They can make it so you can't cure anymore eventually. You get 12 cures total, which means if you hit people with your power 12 times, that's it. They can't cure anymore. They're now permanently exposed and hindered for the rest of the entire match, which is just annihilating. You'll notice most good players don't care about being one-shot. They don't really care about being exposed. But being hindered is something that not even good players can really deal with. That is such a powerful status effect that it just completely screws even the best players over. So no one wants to be fully hindered, which means they're going to have to waste time going to cure themselves, which means they're wasting time not doing generators, not saving people, not healing, not doing any of this stuff. And it's not like Plague's Fountain where it'll heal them as well. They're still injured too if they have the infection and they use this spray. So it's just an extremely powerful slowdown, and you want to use it at every chance you can possibly get. You never want to M1 with this killer. And because of that, Save the Best for Last, I think, while potentially strong because you can gain as many stacks as possible and never lose them, it means you're not getting any of the amazing slowdown that Wesker has. So overall, I would say a final verdict: Save the Best for Last is just not worth it on Wesker, despite him being very good at saving his stacks. His inherent slowdown from his power is just too damn strong. You gotta go for that as every chance you possibly can. It has single-handedly won me games, the amount of slowdown it gets me. So, yeah, overall, Save the Best for Last. I've tested it. You can get stacks. Not worth it. Go for the slowdowns. Go for the infections. It's much stronger, I promise.